Hello, my name is Tony Wong. Today I'm going to talk about a trail camera, or what we call it, trap camera, or also this camera is been used mainly to photograph things that's either in the wild or in the field, or also in farm, where they use it for recording of mammals or animals or wildlife. It is also used in areas where for security reasons. So sometimes this camera, it's activated by motion. Okay, a little bit history of myself. I've been doing this for this NGO for quite some time now, probably over 20 years, and mainly installing this in the jungle. This is one of the camera that we use. There are a lot of variety of this camera, which they call it, sometimes you look on the YouTube or online, it probably says you can search as the trap camera or as the trail camera. Yes. On the whole, there are a variety of these cameras where the prices can be very cheap, or it can go up to a few $1,000s that of much better quality. This, what I'm holding on my hand, is a picture camera. The price is average, it's not expensive, around $200 to $300 a piece, and it's good enough for our purpose. If you lose one of them, then we don't lose a lot of money. Trail camera do get lost in the jungle because they are not secure. Poachers do come along and they will take it away. So one of the good reason this trail camera being used is that it's non-invasive. Basically, we don't have to be there to take photograph of the wildlife. Of course, in the old days when these cameras are not invented or not been around, scientists have to go in the jungle with their own camera, with a film camera, stay in the height and waited for a long time, just take a few shots of the cameras, of the animals or the wildlife that's been around. And it's a tedious job, and it's not easy because those days the equipment is very heavy, big cameras, film and things like that. So they have to drag all this equipment up the mountains, into the forest, crossing rivers and tough terrains, whereby it's all these things need a lot of laborers to carry them. But nowadays it's a very small little thing, just you can see as hold a hand, that I'm holding. For us here in our field of naturalists, in study of wildlife, we use them to see what kind of wildlife they are in the forest. So do we install them depending on the requirement. Sometimes we install them low, sometimes we install them high. Of course, at a different height, the higher you place this camera, mainly those are for bigger animals like elephant and probably in Malaysia would be tapir mainly, but for smaller animal, these cameras have to be placed lower so that you can capture those smaller animals that's in front of us. So it is important that we have to treat this camera properly, because this camera, it's easily available. You can buy them online, and nowadays you can buy them from Amazon or Lazada or Shopee or any other online shopping websites. So it is also important that we keep this camera properly, so that poachers will not get to these cameras. We normally lock them so that they won't break the lock and take away our cameras. Of course, nowadays, all these things are with the new technology and around. Poachers are very smart nowadays, and they are very organized, because they can go into online and search for all these cameras, and they know how to use them as well. So they can use them in the wrong way, so that they can poach wildlife. If they see a wildlife somewhere, then they use these cameras and they will come back and trap those animals. So for us, we use this camera in the right way to study the richness and the biodiversity of the wildlife in the forest. Example, like we use this in Malaysia in Panti, Forest Panti. We have quite a good photograph of this wildlife. So far, the ideal condition of these cameras is that we place this camera around 2 to 3 cameras in one place, so that if one wildlife approaches it, we can also photograph this wildlife from the front or from the back, or also from the back view and a side view, so that sometimes we will miss the capture of the photograph, so that if it's placed wrongly actually. So what we need to do is, from experience, we will have to be careful where we place this camera, so that it's not too exposed, because some wildlife can see this camera and might run away because from our smell and our odor we actually leave some kind of a sense every time we visit these cameras and we touch the camera, and wildlife are very sensitive to it. Okay, the disadvantage of having these cameras around is that poachers can get this camera fairly easily. Because of the technology involved nowadays, they know and they have the knowledge nowadays that they can use this camera in a way to their good advantages, so that they can put these cameras and find out what are the wildlife in the jungle, so that they will come back for the animals. In the past, we have lost quite a lot of these cameras, and even to the stage that they actually cut off those security cables, and sometimes they even chop down the tree just to get rid of the camera. I'm not too sure what they do with the camera. I'm sure they will take it back and they will probably use them and view through our photograph, so that they will know what kind of wildlife are they in that particular area. Of course, when we install this camera, we also have GPS on these cameras, the time, the day, when this wildlife is around. So with all those information, the poachers will have all that information on hand. So it is very important that we secure this camera properly and not to fall into the wrong hand and wrongly used. Share with you all some of the photographs that we have recorded in the forest and the jungle. Some of the photos and also video as well that we recorded